Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Parambaram Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Atmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarchinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandhadhami Bhagavat Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्कपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थितदद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः ॐ So, namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. So, in the last class held on the Friday before the last, we completed the discussion on sloka number 28. Now we have to go to the next set of glories in sloka number 29. So, we will read this sloka 29. You can all unmute yourself and chant after me. Anantaschasmi naganam
Anantaschasmi naganam
Varuno yadasamaham
Varuno yadasamaham
Pitrinam aryamachasmi
Pitrunam
Yamashasmi
Yamasayamatamaham.
Yamasayamatamaham.
Good. So you can all mute yourself now. So the Anvaya of this sloka is Asmi cha anantaha naganam Aham Varunaha Yadasam Asmi Aryama Pitrinam Cha Aham Yamaha Sanyamatam. Asmi Cha Anantaha. I am Ananta. Naganam among the snakes. Aham Varunaha. I am Varuna. Yadasam among the water deities. Asmi Aryama, I am Aryama, Pitrinam, among the ancestors, Cha Aham Yamaha, and I am Yama, Sanyamatam, among the controllers. So I am Ananta hai among the snakes. I am Varuna hai among the water deities. I am Aryama among the ancestors. And I am Yamaha among the controllers. So we are seeing the Lord Krishna's enumeration of Ishwar Vibhutis, or the glories of Ishwara. The entire creation being the manifestation of the Lord. In fact, if you look at it, the whole creation is the glory of the Lord only. We cannot pick anything specifically, oh, this is the glory of the Lord, because everywhere we see around, we are in fact, taken by awe and awestruck and taken by surprise. How beautiful each and everything is. Of course, still the Lord chooses a few prominent, glorious things of things and beings in the creation. And Krishna claims those special things as his glory. And as I said earlier, the purpose of this enumeration is that we can choose those objects as special objects in which the Lord can be invoked. For example, even though all rivers are the glory of the Lord only, Krishna enumerates Ganga as the most glorious among the rivers. And therefore, we can worship Ganga as a special river, invoking the Lord in that. And that is why, in our culture, Ganga Snanam is considered to be a special punya. Why? Because Krishna enumerates that as his glory. Therefore, for Upasana purposes, this enumeration will be useful because everything enumerated here can serve as an alambanam. And as I said, Krishna's enumeration is based on the things experienced here. And many of the enumerations are based on mythological stories also, Puranas also. And in this sloka, the enumeration continues. He says, Naganam, among the snakes. The word Naga simply means snake, especially a serpent. Now, how to differentiate between Sarpaha and Nagaha? Because both mean snakes only. And this is where, the commentators come to our rescue. They give different meanings to differentiate. Because in the previous sloka, if you remember, Krishna had said, Sarpanam Vasukihi Asmi. Of course, even though it is 2 weeks old, since it's just the previous sloka, we should be able to remember. And here he says, Naganam Anantaha Asmi. Obviously, we will ask, why Krishna is differentiating like this? Why he is repeating the snake glory, again? And for that, as I said, some commentators clarify. They say Nagas refer to non-poisonous snake and Sarpa refers to poisonous snakes. So, Savisha and Nirvisha. So he says, among those Nagas, the non-poisonous snakes, I am Anantaha. Now Swami Paramarthanandaji says, perhaps Lord Krishna might have felt that in the previous verse, Vasukihi was said, and Vasuki is associated with Lord Shiva. And therefore, reading that verse, the Shiva Bhaktas will be jumping with joy. And Vishnu Bhaktas probably will feel little bad or let down. So here he brings the balance. And as we know, Ananta is a snake associated with Lord Vishnu. That's why Vishnu is called Ananta Shayana. So he uses the coiled Ananta as the bed. It is like a foam like bed only, also cool. Because snakes are supposed to be cold blooded creatures, very soft to touch also. And therefore, Ananta Shayana. This is, of course, we can say the entertainment part of it. There is a philosophical symbolism in Anantam. Because Anantam means Nirguna Brahma. One of the aspects, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, says Taittiriya Upanishad. So Anantam refers to Nirgunam Brahma. So Vishnu, the Saguna Ishvara, is located in his Swarupam of Ananta, which is Nirguna Brahman. Otherwise also it is called Adiseshaha. Seshaha means that which remains when everything is destroyed. In food also, the word sesham is used. What is left after you eat is seshaha. In fact, according to the Shastra, if you have eaten one food once, if there is a leftover, you should not eat that again. Many people, morning they will cook, one time cooking. Then they will eat whatever balance is there, put it in the fridge. And then evening they will take it out, heat it, and then eat it again. According to the Shastra, this practice is not correct. It's a kind of a papam, it says. The only exception which the Shastra provides is Pitrisesha. That is, when we have the Shraddha ceremony, after feeding the Brahmins, the Yajamana and his wife should partake of the sesham, what is left after those Brahmins have partaken of their food. That Pitrisesham, having the Pitrisesham is considered to be a punya. So Shastra has got all these kind of very complicated rules. You don't ask me why it is like that and all. I mean, we cannot go into the logic of all these things. Well, many people say, those days there was no fridge and all that. So any food that is cooked, probably in 4 to 5 years, it will become stale. So it says that the morning, if you have eaten, then it would have, by evening or early night, it would have become stale. So you should not eat it. But nowadays we have got the fridge, which preserves the food. So all those arguments are there. Anyway, let us not get into that. So sesham means what is left. And in the creation during Pralaya also, after everything becomes unmanifest, what is left behind is Brahman. Brahman doesn't become unmanifest. Brahman is always present. And therefore, Bhagavan is also called Sesha Sai. He remains in his Swarupam. In his nature, which is called Sesha. which is Brahman, which is the ultimate remainder when the whole universe has become unmanifest. Sorry. So therefore, Krishna says, I am Anantaha among the Nagas, among the non-poisonous snakes. Then Aham Varunaha Yadasam. Yadas means water. Water Devata are called Yadas. Jala Devata. Varuna Devata is, sorry, Jala Devata is called Varuna. So therefore, among the numerous Jala Devatas are there, he says, I am Varuna. Because Jalam, water, exists in many forms. In the form of a river, in the form of a lake, in the form of oceans and seas. So there are different in the form of a pond. Every water body has got a devata. And put together, they are all Jala Devatas. So even though Jalam is one, it has got various forms of existence. For each one, we have got a Devata. River Devata, Lake Devata, Ocean Devata, Pond Devata, Well Devata, Borewell Devata. Now Borewell Devata is also there. Then Cloud Devata. Cloud Devata is called Parjanya. Parjanya is water in the form of cloud. You can include your own tears also. Ashru Devata. So thus there are many devatas, water devatas, and among all of them, Varunaha Aham Asmi. I am Varuna Devata, who presides over the ocean. Because ocean, the biggest reservoir of water. Therefore, I am Varuna Devata. See, generally, we consider Sandhya Vandanam as a prayer to Surya Devata. But that is true only for Pratah Sandhya, the morning worship. We worship Surya Devata during morning, Om Mitrasya Charshuni Dhritaha Shravo Devasya Sanasim Satyam Chitrastavastamam. All beautiful mantras, I mean, if you know the meaning, when you're doing Sandhya Vandanam, get immersed in the mantras. So beautiful. Gem of mantras. And through these mantras, we ask for physical health, emotional health, intellectual health, and money. Money also we ask for. And ultimately, we ask for moksha also. And therefore, in Madhyanakam, our prayer is what? Tachakshur devahitam purastad chukramucharate Pashyema Sharadashatam Jivema Sharadashatam Nandhama Sharadashatam Modhama Sharadashatam Bhavama Sharadashatam Srunuvama Sharadashatam Prabhavama Sharadashatam Ajitasyama Sharadashatam Jokcha Suryam Drishe. So what does that mean? We ask for everything that we will desire in our life. Especially as we get older, all these material possessions will not mean much. Even relationships will become secondary. What is the most important thing? I am now realizing health is the most important thing. Proper functioning of all the faculties of the body is the most important thing. And so, therefore, this prayer lists out what are the most important faculties that we should have. Pashyema. First one is, let my eyes be perfect. How long? Sharadashatam, for 100 years. Jivema Sharadashatam. May I live for 100 years with all my faculties functioning very well. Like that, Nandama Sharadashatam, Modama Sharadashatam, and all. All wonderful prayers, What more can we ask, for our sunset years? And in the evening, when the sun has set, we worship Varuna Devata, doing Sayam Sandhya. And Varuna is not an ordinary water Devata, he is a special Devata. Those who do Sandhya Vandanam regularly will recall the mantra Imam me Varuna Sudhihavam Madhyacha Mridaya Twama Yasyurachake Tatvayami Brahmana Vandamanas Aste Yajamano Havirbihi, etc. So this is a mantra, again a very beautiful mantra. We are worshipping Varuna in the evening as a representative of Ishvara. And therefore Krishna says, I am that Varuna Devata. Therefore, Varuna is a very important Vedic deity. In fact, there is a special Suktam itself called Varuna Suktam. So Krishna says, I am that Varuna. Then Pitrinam Aryama Asmi. In the Pitriloka, there are various devatas, many devatas are there. Because as I said before, heaven itself is subdivided into many colonies, and depending upon the grade of your punyam, you will be given a suitable accommodation, in a location like LIG, MIG, high income group, low income group, etc. Therefore, Pitriloka is one loka, and that loka is presided by Pitridevata. And the head of the Pitridevata is Aryama. So these are all very prominent deities of the Vedas, Vedic deities. Originally, these deities were very important in our worship. But gradually, over a period of time, the Puranic deities overshadowed the Vedic deities. And that is why, we have not heard, or we do not hear much about these deities. Aryama, Varuna, Indra are all prominent Vedic deities. And Krishna says, I am Aryama among the Devatas. And whatever Shraddha, Tarpana, etc. we do, that is supposed to directly go to Aryama's department. It's just like, whatever letter you post in any letter box, they will all first go to the main post office. And from there, it is distributed to the proper addresses. Similarly, anybody does Shraddha, Tarpanam, etc., all the offerings go directly to Aryama's supervision. And Aryama has got a courier service, very efficient service. In fact, with an accurate GPS system. And therefore, there is no chance of misdelivery. Because we may not know in which loka our forefathers are there, isn't it? They could have even taken Punarjanma in Manushya Yoni or animal body, etc. Or they might have gone to another of the other 13 lokas. Even they could have gone to Naraka, etc. We don't know. But the Aryama courier service, backed by a super efficient computerized records, using artificial intelligence for locating and delivering the offerings of Shraddha, Tarpanam, etc., to the rightful ancestors. And therefore, Aryama is a very important devata. So Krishna says, among the Pitris, I am Aryama. In fact, in Vivaha mantras, the mantras which are chanted during marriage, the devatas like Aryama, etc., are mentioned. They are all Vedic deities. And here, it's a very important point that we must note, because many people have got this doubt. What is the doubt? See, we say that okay, after death, go to Pitriloka till you are reborn. And we are doing all the Shraddha, Tarpana, etc. for Pitris. Now they ask the question, what if they have already taken rebirth in another body? So then they are no longer our Pitris. So why should we do this Shraddham, Tarpanam, etc.? I mean, on the surface of it, it looks like a logical argument. But the point is that even if they have taken another birth, it is only the body which is different. The Sukshma and Karana Sharira continue in that body. So they still remain our Pitris. And so whatever offerings that we give, this Aryama department will make sure that those offerings go to those people. In fact, they will benefit. And therefore, performance of the Shraddham or Tarpanam, etc., all Pitrikaryams are very important, because our Pitris are always there in one form or the other. Our ancestors never vanish. Maybe their bodies keep changing, but till the end of the Kalpa, they are all existing. Sukshma Sharira, in fact, Sukshma Sharira gets dissolved at the end of the Kalpa. Karana Sharira continues to the next creation also. And therefore, we must understand the importance of performing the Shraddha, Tarpana, etc. Because our ancestors, they never ever disappear from this universe. They are in one form or the other, in one body or the other. Then the last glory of this sloka is, he says, Yamah Sanyamatam cha aham. Among the entire controllers of the world of things and beings, I am Yamaha. Yamaha means Kala Tattva. Because time controls everything. Generation come in time, generations go in time. And even the mind, when we are young, there is that pride and arrogance. Who can do anything to me? I am great. They will talk boastingly. In their walk, one can see with chest up. Then you see them after 10 years, after especially if they got married. Having the first child, that itself will mellow them. Thereafter, couple of more children, you educate them, get them married. By that time, you are fully mellowed down. All whose job? Kala Tattvam only. And that is why Adi Shankara says in Bhajagovindam, Ma kuru dhanajana yauvana garvam harati nimishat kalah sarvam. whatever you have, whether it is youth, it is wealth, don't be very proud, because it only takes the Kala Tattvam one moment to remove everything. Harati Nimishat Kala Sarvam. And we have seen this happening. I mean, there are so many examples, comes to our mind. In fact, whenever I read about this Naresh Goyal, who was the, owner of this Jet Airways, what his condition is now, what he was and what he is now, I always remember this verse from Bhagawad. Therefore, Sanyamatam, among the controllers, I am Yamaha. And as we know, whether we get any other guest or not, arrival of Emma is the only certain event in life. Jatasya hi dhruvor mrityuhu. Krishna says elsewhere in the Gita. And therefore he says, I am that Kala Tattvam. I control everything in this world. That was the one more glory of Krishna. Now we will go to the next set of glories and we will read 30th shloka. All of you can unmute. Prahaladasmi daityanam
Prahaladasmi
kala kalayatamaham
Kalayatamasam
mriganam cha mrigendroham
Mrigendroham
vainate yascha pakshinam.
Vainateyaschapakshinam.
Okay, you can now mute yourself. Anvaya is asmi cha prahladaha daityanam aham kalah kalayatam aham cha mrigendraha mriganam cha vainateha pakshinam. Asmi cha prahladaha, I am prahlada, daityanam, among the daityas. Aham kalah, I am time, kalayatam, among the reckoners or calculators or computers. Aham cha mrigendraha, I am the king of beasts, lion, mriganam, among the animals. Cha vainateyaha, and I am Garuda, pakshinam, among the birds. So I am Prahladaha among Daityas. I am time among the reckoners or computers. I am lion among the animals. And I am Garuda among the birds. Daityanam. Daityana means among the Diti Putras. Diti was the wife of Kashyapa Prajapati, who is an important personality mentioned in the Puranas. It is said that at the beginning of the creation, Brahmaji created 14 Prajapatis. And from these 14 Prajapatis alone, the entire humanity emerged. And therefore, these Prajapatis are enumerated. I think we have seen the list of Prajapatis earlier also. Remember, Daksha, Kashyapa, Atri, Brihu, etc. And among them, the most prominent one is Kashyapa. And Aditi is his wife, one wife. And Diti is another wife. Aditi's wife, Aditi's children are called Devas. And Diti's children are called Asuras. So, Devas and Asuras are born to two different mothers, but the father is one and the same. What does this indicate? It indicates, see, all this symbolism in the Shastra one needs to understand. We have got a mind which is like Kashyapa. The Devas represent positive, healthy thoughts. Asuras represent unhealthy thoughts. And both are from one Kashyapa Prajapati, the mind alone. Therefore, we have got both Deva Vrittis as well as Asura Vrittis out of two different wives. One is called Sattva Guna wife, the other is called Rajoguna wife. So out of these three gunas, especially two gunas, Sattva and Rajas, two types of vrittis are generated. In fact, in 16th chapter, Krishna will call them Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat. I will explain it in detail there. So the Asuras and their progenies are called Daityas. And generally, the Asuras are negative in their thinking. And to such an Asura king, Hiranyakashipu, in Prahlada, son Prahlada is born. But despite being the son of an Asura, Prahlada was a bhakta of Narayana. He continuously repeated the Lord's name in spite of his father, Hiranyakashipu's order and his teacher's efforts to teach him otherwise. Hiranyakashipu had ordered in his kingdom that he alone should be worshipped as God and no other god should be worshipped. In fact, many of the religious denominations who propagate a similar idea, they are all Hiranyakashipu's clan only, rather. They are all Daityas, Asuras. So he ordered everyone has to repeat the word Hiranyaya Namaha, Hiranyaya Namaha. That's all. Go on worshipping him as God. But his son Prahlada refused to do that. And he continues to say Lord Narayana's name, Om Namo Narayanaya. All attempts to make Prahlada accept Hiranyakashipu as Ishvara, including attempts to kill him, failed. So one day, frustrated by all these efforts, Hiranyakashipu, his father, asked him, what is this you are going on saying Narayana, Narayana, Narayana? Where is this Narayana of yours? Prahlada said, why? Narayana is everywhere. Then the king, pointing to a pillar in the palace, in the hall, asked, is he in this pillar? The young Prahlada said, yes. In fact, not only in this pillar, you can find him in a dust particle also. So the story goes, Hiranyakashipu kicked the pillar. And there is one little background also. This Hiranyakashipu had earlier done a lot of tapas. And he had tried to ensure that he would be immortal by securing a special boon. The boon was that he cannot be killed by a human being or an animal. He cannot be killed during day or at night. He cannot be killed inside nor outside the house. He cannot be killed by a wet or a dry instrument, etc. What all possibilities that came into his mind, he put it as condition and he got that boon. So he thought that he is immortal, he cannot be killed by anybody. So when he kicked the pillar and the pillar broke open, Lord Vishnu came out in the form of Narasimha with the head of a lion and a human body. And the time was twilight, Sandhya Kala, which was neither day nor night. And Lord Vishnu, as Narasimha, sat on the threshold of the hall, neither inside nor outside. And since Hiranyakashipu cannot be killed while he is touching the ground, Narasimha put him on his lap and killed him with his nails, no fingernails, because fingernails are neither wet nor dry. He just tore open Hiranyakashipu's torso, killed him without violating any of the conditions of this comprehensive boon. Of course, later he enthroned Prahlada. So Krishna says, I am that Prahlada who is a great bhakta among the Daityas. And Prahlada's greatness is that in the morning, when we have to remember all the great devotees, the first one is Prahlada. In fact, there is a very nice sloka which describes the great devotees whom we are supposed to remember every day morning. Prahlada Narada Parashara Pundarika Vyasambharisha Sukha Shaunaka Bhishmadal Bhyam Rukmangadarjuna Vibhishana Yudhishtiradin Punyaniman Parama Bhagavatam Smarami. This sloka, immediately after we wake up in the morning, and before we spoil our mind by reading newspapers, watching TV, etc., spend a few seconds, 30 seconds, or I don't know how long it will take, remembering the names of all great bhaktas. And the topmost one is Prahlada. In fact, in the Bhagavatam, there are many stutis or stotrams, Dhruva Stuti, Prahlada Stuti, Kunti Stuti, Bhishma Stuti, etc. And each character glorifies the Lord. And the beauty is in those stotrams, not only Pauranic glories are there, highest Vedanta is also packed in those stutis. And in that, Prahlada is also a great one. And the Prahlada Stuti in Bhagavatam is a very famous stuti rather. And this is a very important aspect we must observe. Even though Prahlada was born an Asura, by spiritual sadhana, he could change his character and become a jnani. And therefore, one need not feel bad about one's janma. Jati does not indicate superiority or inferiority. What is important is karma and guna. If you remember the 4th chapter, we discussed about Jati Brahmana, Karma Brahmana, and Guna Brahmana. Jati Kshatriya, Karma Kshatriya, Guna Kshatriya, etc. There, Krishna's focus was not on jati, but focus was right choice of karma. We have to choose proper karma. And by doing that karma with proper attitude, we have to transform our character and ultimately we should become Guna Brahmana. That should be the aim of every human being, irrespective of in whichever Varna he is born. In fact, there are many stories, which actually give out this message. In Tamil literature, there is this Nandanar Charitra. He was a Shudra, agriculturist rather, a farm labor. But his bhakti, eventually he gains moksha. It's beautifully presented symbolically in a story of Nandanar Charitra. Unfortunately, the Chaturvarna system has become notorious because we started looking down upon people purely based on Janma, birth. And today, the so called Brahmanas, who are born from Jati Brahmanas, have ended up with predominance of Rajo and Tamo Guna instead of Sattva Guna. And all the evils of the caste system known today are all born because of this irrational approach of designating the caste based birth and not character. And we can understand this very clearly by reading the Puranas and Itihasas. Prahlada was born Asura. Ravana was a Brahmana because he was born to Vishravasa, who was a Brahmana. In fact, Vishravasa had many wives, and Kumbhakarna, Vibhishna were all born as Brahmins. But we don't remember any of them except Vibhishana. Not because he was born as a Brahmin, but because he had the character of a Brahmin. Therefore, it is not the jati, but the guna that makes a person worth remembering. So, jati Brahmana, Ravana is excluded. Jati Asura, Prahlada is included. Therefore, character is more important than birth. This is the most important message we find in Itihasa, Purana, everywhere rather. Therefore, Prahladaha cha asmi daityanam, ditiputranam. Ditiputranam madhye aham Prahladaha asmi. Then, kalaha kalayatam aham. There are many people, who keep accounts. Among all of them, I am the time that is ticking away constantly. There is nothing that escapes the reckoning of time. That time I am. Because for many things, accounts are kept. For example, a computer, it computes, keeps track of all things. But just imagine what type of computer is required to keep track of punya papa karma of people. So from the morning time, the moment even before you wake up rather, you are aware, but you are not woken up. Sleep has gone. You're just lying down. Suddenly hear some sound in your ears. Mosquito. reminding you that I am also here as one of the entities. And it just comes and sits on your cheek. You feel its presence. What do? You are scared. Oh, this mosquito, cause of dengue and malaria, etc. Immediately hit it, kill it. So, right from killing the first mosquito in the morning, you do so many karmas, good karmas, bad karmas. Every karma has got both drishtaphalam and adrishtaphalam. Adrishtaphalam has to be recorded. Computer has to be everything that you do, and the result of that has to be fed into the computer. And not only you done actions in this janma, for beginningless time, since you are been existing as a jiva, you have been doing these karmas. And all along, this computer has been updating your account. Sanchita karma, agami karma, prarabdha karma. All these karmas have to be stored in the computer. And the capacity of the computer has to be constantly increased. Because increase in the human population requires more capacity. Just imagine, what kind of computing and reckoning that is being done. If you consider human beings alone, it is more than 8 billion in the entire world. In India itself, it is 1.4 billion. China, you can take another 1.4 billion. Because all over the world, more than 8 billion human beings are there. Then count mosquitoes, ants, cockroaches. Each one has got sanchita karma. Each one has got prarabdha karma. Of course, the non-human beings may not have agami karma. Just imagine the amount of, olden days they used to be data, data operators or whatever they called, I don't remember. They used to, feed the data into the computer. Every karma, from the smallest karma to the biggest karma, has not only to be punched in the computer, but also it has to be tracked so that those karmas have to produce the result at the appropriate time. Not 1 second later, not 1 second earlier. All these complexities, just imagine the kind of computer that will be required. And that computer department is headed by a person called Chitragupta, who assists Yamadharma Raja, who is the minister in charge of Kala or Kala Tattva. So he has to continuously produce reports for Ishvara showing the present status of karma phala, the balances of sanchita karma, the date and time of completion of the present prarabdha karma, and the forthcoming time and type of prarabdha karma, etc. Very detailed report for every jiva has to be provided. And based on that report only, Ishvara becomes karma phala data. He hands over the karma phalam perfectly, according to the justice, according to the dharma, according to the law of karma. Because Lord Yama assists Ishvara in this dharmic exercise, he is called Yama Dharma Raja. And as I said, the name of Chitragupta is also very significant. Because the word gupt means secret. In fact, in North India and all, the Vaishyas, the business community people, they are called Guptas. Because secrecy is one of the important things to be observed in business. And for that, even if one has to hide the truth, it is accepted by Shastra. And therefore, whenever we come across, Satyam Vada as a value, it is a relative value. There are exceptions. And therefore, the title given to the Vaishya community is Gupta. For Kshatriya community, it is the title given is Varma. Varma means kavacham, protection. Protection of the society from adharma. Brahmanas are called Sharma. Sharma stands for quietude, peace, tranquility. These are all the origins of how these words, Sharma, Varma, Gupta, etc. came. Of course, later on with time, these were also modified and different synonyms, you can say, they came into being. And why understanding these are important? Because every jiva's karma account is kept secret, Gupta. That's why it's Chitragupta. It is accessible only to three entities: Chitragupta, Yamadharmaraja, and Ishvara. Even a jiva cannot access his or her own karma account. And that is why, on a special day, you do a special puja to Chitragupta to please him in the false hope that some papa karmas he will omit to record. Of course, there is no harm in entertaining such false hopes. One way it is, I would say, it boosts one's own psychology. Anyway, the puja is done as thanksgiving to Chitragupta for his services. So, Kalaha Kalayatam Aham. Then Mriganam Mrigendraha Aham. Among the wild animals living in the forest, I am the king of them, the lion or tiger. In fact, in forests where lions are not there, the tiger becomes a ruler. So Krishna says, among the animals, I am the king, the ruler, Mrigendraha. Indraha means the king, ruler of all animals. And all animals are also Ishvara's manifestation only. And every animal has got a unique feature. In fact, if you have watched the TV show Animal Planet, I don't know whether it still comes or not. Long ago, it used to come, Animal Planet. How they showcase the glory of each animal, from the smallest ant to the biggest elephant. It's so beautiful. So every animal has got a unique glory, and therefore Krishna says, while all animals are my glory, but among them, I am the king of the forest. The word mriga means a wild animal whose habitat is the forest. What we should understand here is this. Bhagavan says, the fearlessness and the power in the king of animals are me. That is the symbolism of Mriganam Mrigendraha Aham. Now, next he says, Vainateha Pakshina. The word Pakshi means bird, where the word Paksha means wing. Pakshi means that which has got a wing. Two wings are there. Therefore, Pakshau Yasyastaha iti Pakshihi. The winged one. In fact, we can even call an aeroplane as a Pakshi because according to definition, it has got wings. In fact, the Indonesian Airlines is called Garuda. So Krishna says, among the flying creatures or birds, I am Garuda. Garuda is the son of Vinata, as is Aruna. Therefore, he is called Vainateya, a devotee of Vishnu. Garuda flies very high, where even the vultures cannot go. Garuda, it looks like an eagle with a white band around the neck, Oh, sorry. And sighting it is supposed to be a good omen. So the capacity to soar to such heights and fly so beautifully are its special features. So Krishna says, this vibhuti of Garuda is nothing but me. Garuda is the most glorious bird, a very devoted bird, and that is also mount or vahanam of Lord Vishnu. I think time is up. I'll just take one more minute. So Pakshi Vahana, Garuda Vahana. In Vaishnava Sampradaya, Garuda is given a very prominent position. But there was a saint called Garuda Alvar. Alvar means a great devotee. The one who immerses himself in the devotion of the Lord. Therefore, I am that great devotee Garuda among the birds. Now, next time, Krishna continues with the next set of glories, which we will see in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Dhanyavad everyone. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी
Th-
धन्यवाद
Hari Om.
Om, Namaskaram.
Thank you Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Guruji.
very much. Thank you.
Harihi Om Guruji.
Hari Om. Thank
I
you.
Thank you
joined
very
you.
much,
Hari Om,
Guruji.
Hari Om,
Namaskaram.
Guruji.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram.
Thank you Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you. No hands are going up. Looks like no questions are there. So can I close the session?
Yeah, none today.
Okay. Hari Om. Thank you all very much. See you next Friday.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaste. Pranam.